You are listening to the Be Your Own Coach podcast. I am Deanne, Life Coach Day. This is episode number 7, and today's topic is actually a question. And the question is, how does it feel? Okay, so how does it feel? That is the question that I want you to be thinking about. Before I get into the whole how does it feel, I want to do a quick recap so that everyone is up to speed on where I'm at and what I'm speaking of. If you are doing 100 days consistent, if you're doing the challenge with me, this is week number 3, and today for me is actually day number 17. So, what day are you on? I'm curious to know. What day are you guys on out there? All right, so in week number 1, I talked a little bit about letting it out. And when I say letting it out, I'm talking about letting out everything that's kind of going on in your head, the thoughts that you are having, whether it's you need to vent or you need to express yourself or you need to just get the thoughts that you're having outside of your body. And I encourage you to do that by doing a thought download, which is simply writing those thoughts down. So letting it out is what we discussed in week number 1. Week number 2, we talked about taking a look at the thoughts that you've been thinking and becoming more aware of the thoughts that you're having and consider how those thoughts have been impacting you, because every single thought that we have impacts us, whether it's in a positive way or a negative way. The thoughts that we have reflect the results that we get in our lives. So we can look at a result that we have in our life and trace it back to the way that we've been thinking, right? So that's why it's important to know, what is it that we're actually thinking? Is what we're thinking useful, or is it not useful? Is it helpful, helping us get towards our goal, helping us accomplish the things that are important to us, or is it hurting us and holding us back? So getting a closer look um, at what we're thinking is what was discussed in week number 2. So this week, week number 3, I am asking the question, how does it feel? And what I want to know, what I mean by that is, how do your thoughts make you feel? How are your thoughts making you feel? I want you to take some time to determine an emotion that is connected to the thoughts that you're having. Maybe you have a thought all of the time. Maybe your thought is like, this is too hard, this is too much, I can't do it, right? That's 3 different thoughts. But what emotion is connected to the thought, I can't do it, or this is too hard? What comes up for you when you think those thoughts? And the way that I want you to take time to do that is, I want you to get your hands on a feelings wheel. So if you are listening to this podcast and actually watching the video, you see that I have a feelings wheel up on the screen. A feelings wheel basically includes a bunch of different feelings that you might be experiencing, just to help you identify and narrow down like the specific thought that you're actually having. Because the more specific and the more accurate your feeling is that you're actually having, that you're able to align with your thought, then the better you'll be able to understand how your thinking is impacting you. So get your hands on a feelings wheel. If you're not looking at this video, like a visual version of it, you can always go to Google, type in feelings wheel, and you'll get a ton of feelings wheels that will pop up. Just pick one, okay? So it is um it is so important for us to understand how our thoughts make us feel, because if our thoughts impact the way that we feel, and the way that we feel impacts the actions that we choose to take, then we gain a clearer understanding of what we do when we gain a clear understanding of the things that we do, like the actions we actually decide to take and why we're getting the results that we're getting. Okay, so for instance, um, let's just say you want to work on something, you want to learn a new skill. Okay, you decide that you want to learn a new skill, and some of the main thoughts that you might be having now that you've decided that you want to learn this new skill is you're just like, I don't know what I'm doing, right? So what emotion do you feel when you're thinking, I don't know what I'm doing? So for me, I might feel insecure. Okay. And then another thought I could be having is this isn't going to work. I want to learn this new skill, but it's not going to work. So I'm thinking it's not going to work. Thinking that thought will probably have me feeling doubtful. So doubtful is an emotion that to me, I feel like aligns well with the thought, this isn't going to work. I'm having doubts now. Or I might be thinking, this is going to be too hard. So because I'm focused on the thought it's too hard or it's going to be too hard, I may be feeling discouraged, right? Or maybe I'm thinking I've got too much other stuff to do. I've got way too much other stuff going on to do this. And so maybe that might cause me to feel overwhelmed. So do you see how each thought, they're different, but they're causing me to feel different emotions, right? And all of those thoughts are causing me to feel emotions that are going to probably hold me back or keep me from moving forward, right? Because what do you do when you feel insecure? And when you start having doubt or when you start doing this, feeling discouraged or overwhelmed, you kind of start doing things to hold yourself back. But if you decide that you want to focus on thoughts that are more useful, right? Which we do have an option. And that's what I'm encouraging you to understand as well. We thoughts do just pop into our heads sometimes, and we might not be able to control them when they pop in, but we do get to decide if we wanted to continue focusing on that thought, or if we want to switch that thought, or if we want to focus on something different, or if we're going to run with that thought. We have options. We just need to start making decisions, and we just need to start acting like we know we have options. A lot of times we're operating as if we have no options, no decisions on how we want to choose to think, and we do. So, for instance, instead of thinking, I don't know what I'm doing and feeling insecure, I could choose to think, I can I can figure this out. And if I'm thinking that I can figure this out or I'm going to figure this out, then I might start feeling a little optimistic, right? Or maybe I might think, this just might work. And so now I'm feeling hopeful because instead of focusing on the thought this isn't going to work and feeling doubt, I'm thinking, this just might work and feeling a little hopeful, right? And then I can also choose to think that I won't let this challenge stop me. Like, this is a challenge. I can see that there's going to be a challenge, but I'm not going to let this challenge stop me. So now I'm thinking that thought and I'm feeling a little determined. I got that determination kicking in. And then instead of thinking I've got too much to do and feeling that emotion of overwhelm, I might think, I want to make time for this. This is something really important to me, and I want to make time for this. So now I might start feeling desire, like the desire to create space in my life, to create space in my calendar so that I can make time to learn this new skill that I want to learn. Right. So if you think about it, and there's a skill you want to do or something you want to accomplish. And if you're feeling insecure and having a lot of doubts and you're feeling discouraged and you're feeling overwhelmed, how much are you really going to get done? You are probably going to hold yourself back and keep yourself from getting things done. And the reason you're feeling that way is because of how you're thinking. But then imagine if you're wanting to learn a new skill and you're feeling optimistic and hopeful and you're determined and you have the desire to get it done. Like, how are you going to show up with those emotions? What are you going to be more likely to do because you are feeling those emotions? And you're simply feeling them because of how you're thinking. So this is just me trying to show you that the way that we think, it has an impact on how we feel. And how we feel determines if we're going to show up in a way that is useful or unuseful, that's going to help us get the what we're trying to get, or it's going to hold us back. And it's really up to us. All right, so I want you to do homework this week. This was short and sweet and to the point. This week, I want you to focus on identifying what emotions that your thoughts are causing you to feel. So, if you're doing the 100 days consistent challenge, you should be doing two things. The first thing is you should be doing one thing consistently throughout this 100 days. So for me, my one thing is I am calendaring and I'm trying to follow my calendar as closely as possible. So that's my one thing. The last time I did this challenge, my one thing was to do at least a 15-minute workout every day or consistently throughout the 100 days, right? So what is your one thing? You should be doing your one thing consistently throughout this 100-day time frame. The number two thing you should be doing is you should be your own coach. You should be coaching yourself, because what's going to happen is that one thing that we're supposed to be focusing on, when it's time for us to do it, we're not going to feel like it. We're not going to want to do it. And that's where the coaching comes in at. We see what's going on in our mind. We let it out. We take a look at it. We identify the emotion that is connected with it so that we can understand why we are feeling that way, why we are thinking that way, why are we getting the result that we're getting, why we're not getting up and doing the thing that we want to do. Is because of the way that we're thinking. Or why are we doing this thing that we want to do? Like, how are we thinking that's causing us to get up, get out there, and go do the thing that we want to do? So we should be coaching ourselves around doing this one thing consistently for 100 days, right? And then remember that you have options, right? You have options. You can choose how you want to think. Do you want to think in a way that's useful and serving to you, or in a way that is going to hold you back? And taking time to like identify the thoughts, and the way that these thoughts are causing you to feel is kind of giving you the awareness that you need, because first comes awareness and then comes the change. You can't really change anything if you're not aware of what needs to be changed. So now we're going through the awareness piece where we're just becoming aware of what we're thinking, seeing how it's impacting us, seeing how it's impacting the results that we're getting, and then determining how we want to move forward. Okay. So, like I said, the homework is identifying what emotions your thoughts are causing you to feel. And let me know what you notice, right? Let me know in the comments if you notice anything. You can email me and let me know if you notice anything. I am very curious to see what you guys are noticing. I know that there's a lot that I noticed. I have these thoughts that they're negative and they contradict what I say I want to do, and they do hold me back. And so it's important for me to like find those thoughts, identify them, challenge them. Like, is this even real? Like, this thought, is this even true? Something that I might be thinking, challenge that thought, and then come up with a more serving thought to focus on. So I want to know what you're noticing. But until next time, I want you to be your own coach and prosper.